Hello everyone. This game is played by two unknown players and their opening is called Morra Gambit. Morra Gambit is an opening gambit against the Sicilian Defense distinguished by the moves e4, c5, d4, c takes d4, then c3. This is an advanced variation. White sacrifices a pawn to develop quickly and create attacking chances in exchange for the gambit pawn. White has a piece developed after knight takes c3 and a pawn in the center, while black has an extra pawn and a central pawn majority. So let's continue. After c takes d4, then c3, d takes c3. Knight takes c3, e6, b takes c4. The plan for white is straightforward and consists of placing the bishop on c4 to attack the f7 square and controlling both c and d files with rooks, taking advantage of the fact that black can hardly find suitable place to post the queen. a6, bishop f4, b5. The purpose of this is to have an attack simultaneously with white. That's the only way for black to equalize with white attacking chances. In this game, we can see that black is also attacking at the same time, not afraid of the attack of white. Bishop b3, bishop c5, knight f3, queen b6, castling. So in this case, suppose white moves knight d5 instead of castling. Black will simply take the pawn in f2. Bishop takes f2. By the way, black cannot take knight at d5. Black is in big trouble. For example, e takes d5, queen takes d5. Now, the queen has a double threat, taking the rook at a8 and a threat in f7. That is why it's not advisable to take that sacrifice. Instead, black has to continue its attack. So let's go back to the original position. White has to castle to protect the bishop taking the pawn in f7. Then knight e7. Black has to continue to defend and attack at the same time to control the center not only by pawn but also by pieces. Queen e2, bishop b7. Bishop and knight is controlling now the d5 square. Rook fd1, knight b c6, a3. The purpose of white here is to move his bishop, then move his b pawn to b4. So black has to plan on how to counter that later on. So in this position, suppose white did not move that a3 but instead move another piece. For example, instead of a3, white will move knight d5. In this position, knight is not only threatening the queen but also the c7 square with a double check with rook and king. So black has no option but to take this sacrifice. E takes d5, e takes d5. In this position, as you can see, it's either white has to take his knight away or leave it. If black takes away his knight, His knight and e7 is also in trouble. So it is better to continue the development. Castling, then d takes c5, b takes c6. In this position, black is not in danger because his knight is protected by his dark bishop. The position is not bad for black. As you can see, the two bishops and the queen are pointing into the castled king. So let's go back again with the actual move. a3, then knight g6. The purpose of this is to attack the dark bishop, bishop g3, then knight ce7. The purpose of this move is to protect the king and at the same time control again the center with the knight and bishop. Rook ac1. As earlier discussed, one of the main purpose of this gambit is to control the C and D piles with rooks. h5. Black is continuing its attack at the same time. h3. h4. There's a reason why this is pushed and we could see the reason later. Bishop h2. The purpose of this move is to protect the d7 square and to prepare the attack in queen side. Bishop a2. Now it is obvious that white is planning to move its pawn to b4. a5. This move would stop the d4. Bishop b1, b4, a takes b4, a takes b4, knight a2, bishop a4, attacking the rook, queen c4. This is a dubious move because white is ignoring the threat of bishop against its rook and planning to take the dark bishop instead. The best move for black here is to continue the attack since the pawn in f2 is now free. Bishop takes f2. So now black is 2 pawns ahead. But for analysis purposes, let's also see what if bishop takes rook first. Bishop takes d1, queen takes c5, queen takes c5, rook takes c5, bishop takes f3, g takes f3. In this position, white castle king is now open and with bad pawn structure. On the other hand, the b pawn of black is hanging. Let's go back to the actual moves. Bishop takes f2, king h1, bishop takes d1. That's the right time to take that because now it's 2 pawns ahead plus quality. Rook takes d1, b3, knight c3, queen c5. The purpose of this move is to activate the queen. B pawn anyway is already hanging and it's better to continue the attack. And black is 2 pawns ahead plus quality. Queen e2. That's not a good move. It's better if white just take the b pawn. Bishop g3. That's the purpose of h5. That's why it was moved earlier. Queen d3. Rook d8 to protect the threat of white in d7. Knight b5. The purpose of this move is to occupy the d6 square and to take the b6 pawn. This is the best time for black to put his king into safe. Castling. Bishop takes g3, h takes g3, knight d6 as expected, knight f4, black is attacking at the same time, queen takes b3, queen f2, black is now threatening mate, knight h4 to protect the mate. Another option here is to move its rook into g1, rook g1, then rook b8, queen c3, rook takes b2, e5, knight takes h3, g takes h3, queen h2, knight takes h2, rook takes h2, mate. So let's go back with the actual move. Knight h4, knight takes h3, e5. That's a very bad move. White should move its queen offering an exchange instead, like queen f3. Let's go back to actual moves. e5, queen g1, sacrificing the queen for smoother check. Rook takes g1, knight takes f2 mate. I hope you enjoyed the game. I will post more interesting games in the future, so please subscribe and like my channel. Thank you.